Just firstly, welcome everyone to Men's Health Week. Really excited to be getting this off the ground of 5 talks this week. So first guest tonight, we've got Anthony Corrie. So Anthony is a former AFL footballer playing 56 games in the sport's top league and earning a Rising Star nomination for his on-field performances. Since retiring from football, Anthony's been spending his time playing and coaching at the Kenmore Bears whilst raising his young daughter with his wife. And he currently works as an Indigenous service manager with a leading employment agency. So welcome, Anthony.
Thanks, brother. Great to be here. First and foremost, I just want to acknowledge the traditional owners on where this message may carry to, past and present, and also the emerging leaders, especially our brothers and sisters out there. Keep fighting strong, but let's change our lives first.
Awesome. Thanks, Anthony. So I've been fortunate enough to hear Anthony speak numerous times down at the Kenmore Bears Football Club. He's always got really great positive messages. And with COVID, with reduction in community sport and the loss of those kind of community groups where young men, young leaders and everyone like to typically hang out and communicate and get to interact and kind of influence other young people, I asked him to come along. And so we've got a few questions we're going to run through tonight. And I'm sure Anthony will have some great messages to spread along the way. So first up, Anthony, so you grew up a highly talented footballer and eventually, you got drafted into the league. So how'd you go managing with the pressures and expectations as a young man?
First and foremost, I wasn't that talented. No, look, I guess I had a mother who allowed us to sort of dream big. She, if we weren't getting up for training, she would give us a bit of a hiding and telling us to get up and hurry up and get the footy training. But look, all I wanted to do was play football, play AFL at the highest level as I can. And I guess it all paid off. I didn't have a backup plan. I didn't want to go to school. So, I guess the big part is to make sure that, once you set yourself, nothing stands in your way, sort of thing. So it was good.
Awesome. Shout out to all the mums out there. Doing a great job, all of them. My son and your daughter are only a couple of days apart. And we ran each other to the traffic lights down at the Marta going for a coffee run a couple of years ago. And to reach that goal, to play AFL football, you had to take a huge step, move away from the territory and your family. How'd you find the big move? Like, how hard was that?
Yeah, it was very scary. You shed some tears before you jump on the plane to come over here. And once you're over here, it's a bit surreal. Walking in and you're shaking Michael Voss's hand and Chrissy Johnson's there waiting to take you back to his house to, be his boarder. So the hardest part was sort of, I guess the family side of things. Knowing that sort of mum was doing it tough back home, in the background, it's more sort of like I've got to put my head down and bum up, which I guess at times I lost track. Injured myself in the first year, in 2003, and ruptured my index finger. And after the first 3 months of the recovery, all I wanted to do was go home and just give up. But we had the support of our welfare officers at the Lions at the time, and then also, like I said, Chrissy Johnson and Darryl White were sort of our Indigenous mentors, along with Shane Johnson and Craig Lambert, to name a few names. Those sort of guys there were always there and sort of pushing you forward to sort of don't give up on your dreams. So yeah, it was good.
So you almost went back to boarding school. So you became a boarder down here.
No, well, I moved in with Chris Johnson and his family, and I was there for a good 3 to 4 years, which was even better because I came home to nice cooked Italian meals. So it was good.
You fed well. And your first game at AFL, Do you remember it? How excited, proud of you, proud of yourself were you in that moment?
Yeah, it was against West Coast Eagles over at Subiaco at the time, 2004. I got drafted as a backman. You probably laugh now because I'm a stay-at-home forward. So I got drafted as a backman, and yeah, just was playing along or playing on players like Ben Cousin and Daniel Kerr at the time. So it was a I guess nervous, but a great experience.
Big names, dropping some big names already.
Have to.
Starting. So AFL's going well. You're playing. You're in the top league, and unfortunately, you do your ACL and you're out for the season. How did you deal with such a big setback and huge blow?
Yeah, look, that was probably probably a turning point in my sort of life, where I did it in 2006, and I guess before then I was taking everything for granted. I guess I was a bit of a party boy as well, going out, just getting away from it all because the pressures. People go, oh, you're earning all this money, you should be able to behave and stuff like that. But one thing is that the pressure in performing every day. In the AFL side of things. So I was fortunate enough, and I feel sorry for the guy, but one of the guys did his knee as well. So I had a sort of a training partner while I was recovering, and we were able to get back together on the field. But in that time, or that 18 months that I had to recover, I did a lot more, I guess, thinking outside of education, moving forward in life, just in case, I wasn't able to sort of get back into playing footy again. And we weren't afraid to actually go and see psychologists and stuff, sports psychologists, to sort of give you, I guess, strategies around how to deal with sort of the knockbacks you're getting day after day, because I had a lot of scar tissue as well. So I started running straight lines, but couldn't dodge left and right. So then I wanted to dodge left and right, and it was just sort of why the hell I can't do this. So yeah, look, the ACL probably was a turning point in my footy career, and play almost every single game in 2008 after that, and yeah, look, I got traded to the Collingwood Magpies.
Yeah. And so you almost, like, you kind of had an accountability buddy during that ACL rehab. And do you reckon that made a big impact, like having someone that you were being a bit accountable with in terms of both making sure you're both in the gym and doing your physio and stuff like that?
Yeah, our strength and conditioning coach as well. He was very important with us, just to sort of keep both of us level-headed and just sort of on track. We would do 3 or 4 sessions a day, whether it was running, water running, weights, balancing. So our strength and conditioning coach was or a previous ski, what they call it, strength and conditioning coach, a skiing guy.
Yeah.
So he was sort of knew sort of how to bounce and stuff like that. So we were always having challenges, pipping ourselves against one another. So that buddy there was always sort of a helping hand.
Yeah. Awesome. And then going on from there, so you played 53 games for the Lions. I kind of left the Collingwood bit out of my notes, and then you kicked 48 goals. So for someone that started off as a backman, you went on to kick 48 goals, which is a pretty nice little sum out of 53 games. Do you have a favourite goal?
Oh, there's a couple. I think the goals against Essendon, where I think we came from behind, and it was in the wet at the Gabba. So that was probably one of my favourite games. But Lee Matthews was the coach at the time, and he sort of turned me into a defensive forward. Like nowadays, you have a lot of Indigenous boys who play up forward and use their pace to chase down tackles. So that's yeah, so it's yeah. I would say the Essendon game. I don't know which year it was, but yeah, it was a good day for us when it coming from behind and winning.
Good, great stuff. And your favourite player to play with and against? Who was your biggest rival?
I wouldn't have a rival, I don't reckon.
Everyone loves you.
I guess the hardest player I've ever played against is Daniel Wells. He's got a great engine to run, but also at that time. Yeah, so but playing footy with you had your Vossies, Johnsons, Brown, Notting. So I was privileged enough to play with the solid superstars and legends of the Brisbane Lions at the time. So
yeah, awesome. And so all of this, so you moved away from home, you make the league, you suffer a number of setbacks with the finger, the ACL, and it's kind of built you into a pretty resilient character. And so part of getting on was to have a bit of a chat about other ways. So some of the thoughts are things that have helped you kind of become a bit more resilient. Like obviously how we're brought up and everything plays a role, but also how do how do other people help build up their resilience to help deal with some of the hard knocks of life?
Look, I was fortunate enough to have a lot of mentors growing up. It started sort of at a young age where I had my auntie and uncle. Moved back with my mother, and then she became sort of a mentor. And then I found a couple of coaches within Darwin or in the Northern Territory to help with that sort of mentoring as well. And then once I've moved across here, like I said before, Jono. But then I had Craig Lambert, who I used to go over almost every week to have a feed. Mel or his wife Mel and the kids used to sort of put on a show for us and have a feed and just enjoy each other's company, especially the guys who were sort of from Victoria as well. So like it's one of those things where you try and build yourself to be that sort of person they are. Always try and be there for that person or for your mates. Well, you say your mates, but it's more like your brothers and sisters. In regards to sort of making sure that they're have someone to talk to, and if it's I guess if it's a real thing where sometimes we can think it's a joke and say, oh whatever, stop fucking around, stop joking around, sort of thing. But making sure that when it's serious to have a chat and that person needs that shoulder or that ear, we're always there for them. And I'm doing it right now in my line of work. Where I work is I work in employment, where I'm trying to sort of get our fellas to break that generational cycle on our on dependency of welfare. It's challenging. Every day's different, but you've got to always show a solid front to make sure that they know tomorrow Anthony's still going to be there on the phone, or Anthony's still going to try and refer me to a job. You just got to be there for someone.
It's that it's that kind of power of showing up for your mates.
Yeah.
What makes a good mentor in your eyes? What makes someone a good mentor?
Someone that's just always going to follow through. Like you're going to earn, if you meet someone on the street and you start talking, you're going to earn their trust and respect straight away. Just because you've taken that time out to talk and spend that, have a listen. But then the follow through, if you're going to say you're going to do something, you've got to do it. That's probably my big thing. That's what I live on at the moment with, I guess, my line of work. And I try and spread that within our organisations. If we're going to say we're going to put this person into work, or we're going to pay for their forklift license, we have to follow through. Or I'm going to come to the pub, and sometimes I can't go to the pub because my ball and chain here tells me not to. But but it's just one of those things where you might invite someone over to your house to have a yarn, or even just sit around and drink a few glasses of wine. That sort of stuff, just always there, and following through with what you're saying.
Like agreeing to this interview before knowing what you're in for at about 11:30 at night.
I'm probably going to get in trouble by my wife for saying that too.
So you finish up from football. 2014, you get brought along to the Kenmore Bears, and immediately you kind of start making an impact. And then 2016, like I was pretty fortunate enough. I can't remember when I started down at the Bears, but 2016, you organised the whole Indigenous round, which was adopted by the whole competition. I won't spoil it, but I'm going to ask you that question. But it was during NAIDOC week. It was a great week, and you did a whole lead up for the whole players to really give them a bit of your culture, the local culture, and everything else. Do you want to talk us through that week a little bit more?
I wouldn't say I was the forefront of that, but there was a few clubs doing it within the sort of the Indigenous round with the AFL. But I thought, look, we've got a whole week where we celebrate not reconciliation, but also NAIDOC week and the achievements of our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander brothers and sisters and what they've done and stuff like that. So I went to the footy club and approached them to say, hey, look, I know we do the Indigenous round in round 5 in the AFL. Well, why don't we push it back and do it the first week of July? And the club and Terry Mumford at the footy club, there was open to it. And, we ended up getting the ball rolling, and we had a couple of good sponsors at the time in the Workman's over at Remax. So they jumped on board and, got it happening for us. And fortunately, Coolangatta, who were the opposition, had their Indigenous trip as well. So, which worked out a treat. During the week, we got people to come in and talk about sort of what Indigenous, what sort of celebration or what is NAIDOC to us, and discuss sort of it's sort of not a cultural awareness, but it was just more sort of talking about why it was important to celebrate NAIDOC. And then we had some food and an artwork down, an artist down there selling some artwork. We even had some dancers, which was even better, and we had Lofty come out and do some creative stuff to the centre square. So the footy club sort of has been very, very passionate about that, and hopefully it's sort of, once I've gone on, things can move sort of and continue to move forward without having me there.
It was a great week. I've got a last year the club gifted me one of those like the Indigenous strip with the shirts for Henry. So he loves running around in his little Guernsey. And I know you've got one for Lottie as well, and Matt's got one as well. They're great little Guernseys and mementos for the club and for a great week that was organised. The Bears have much become a bit of a community and a sanctuary for young blokes. Like, everyone feels well included, well rounded, and everyone kind of keeps an eye out for each other. How important, do you think these sporting communities are for everyone?
Yeah, look, I believe sporting teams allow people to, generate, their own friendships, their own support mechanisms. Sorry.
Hey,
it's one of those things where sort of a footy club or even just an organisation or social organisation helps men or young men and young women as well. Through the troubled times. Like I used to use it, and I've told my wife this, that I've always used footy training and football to get away from, the burden of the day-to-day stuff, where I can go down and talk to, whoever, the captain, Matty Waters or Corrie, and go, bloody hell, today was hard, eh? What do I do? That sort of stuff, and you actually forget about it. But I know the issue's still there, but you get to talk to someone with a different perspective and an open mind. So those footy clubs or those sporting and social groups are really important. Even if you're feeling sort of down and out, it's the hardest part is you're always going to come home like feeling better for it and always smiling. So it's a big part of my life, and we've, I guess, agreed that my daughter will also become playing a team sport, because that creates that sort of friendship and um, a confidant, or what do you want to call
Yeah, gives you that kind of space to kind of debrief before going home, and knowing that you've got a bit of an outlet where you can, go and do the footy around and tackle your mates and have a bit of fun to get rid of
it.
some stress.
Some blokes try and trip you.
Yeah. And so with COVID and footy being delayed, what advice have you got for the young guys who've been a bit disappointed to miss out on so much footy? And how would you best prepare them? So you're back in the coach's role. How would you best prepare them for round of footy in a couple of weeks' time?
I guess just be normal. I know, we would have connected with our friends and family on this sort of stuff here, like we've got life size and Zoom and house party and stuff like that. But I guess they've had the time, I guess, with the family, especially the younger ones. It's awesome to see, at the front of our house here, we have a father and son kicking the footy together. You don't see that often anymore. So that sort of, I guess, the COVID thing was a sort of a reset, and just to see sort of family and the father-son bonding sessions happen again, are very important. So, look, it's probably only going to be 8 weeks worth of football for the lads, and all they need to do is, I guess, just enjoy it. Footy's back, and I guess all the blokes are smiling. They're just waiting for the pubs to open now.
They can, the Kemmel Bears can use that regatta sponsorship.
Yeah, that's true.
And so you mentioned getting Lottie involved in team sport later on. Is she going to be a hockey player or playing the women's AFL?
As long as she's playing a team sport, I do not care. But she will play tennis or golf just to serve my retirement plan.
just in case. All right, we're almost at the end here. But, what are you currently doing to keep yourself fit and healthy?
That's a trick question. Is that a trick question?
Bit of a trick question.
Hey, look, I'm coming home, going for walks and stuff with the daughter, with little Lottie. So she's keeping me pretty active at the time. Trying to play cricket on the weekends as well. Majority, but that's about it. You might do a few push-ups and sit-ups at night before bed, but that's it, mate. I'm not sort of I'm just enjoying sort of the time with the family. And I guess I've done footy for the last 20 years and 30 odd years, and I think it's I guess it's time to sort of enjoy what we have now, and I guess life's too short, sort of thing.
So that's what
I don't do anything.
Fit and healthy. Before mentioned about footy being your outlet. So what do you do to kind of mentally unwind now? Are you combining that with your walk? Or are you finding other?
So with the walk, Lottie, I come home and Lottie sort of, hello, Daddy, and that sort of, I guess that just sort of takes all that negativity that you've had throughout the day away, and you just drop everything out the door. That's probably the most important thing, is when you walk through the door, you leave work at that door, and you come in and focus on, I guess, the family. That's probably the big part. If you're bringing work and trying to deal with family at the same time, it's just gonna cause a bad mix.
Doesn't work well.
It doesn't. No. Feel like you got the whole weight on your shoulders.
What's next for Anthony Corrie?
Mate, look, I'm hoping to sort of look out to start my own business within regards to employment, recruitment, mentoring. But that's a dream. That's a long-term dream. That's what I do now. But just to sort of do it for, I guess, myself, and I provide that continued support for my community. And sort of, like I said at the start, is just to try and change their lives, every day, in regards to sort of bringing in income and setting an example and being a role model for their family as well.
Awesome. Hope the boss isn't listening.
They probably will be.
Well, there's a little bombshell for them. Finally, just leave us tonight. A few more words of wisdom on building resilience, looking after your mates, building healthy communities.
Yeah, like I said, it's the big part is we got into, before this stuff again, before the pandemic, we were sort of in our little bubble, doing, I guess, on our phones, and we still are, but is that we are connecting with our community, in regards to our neighbours, seeing friends more often. That's when the stages got lifted and stuff, but seeing our friends more often, spending time with our family itself, just sort of leaving, like I said at the start, leaving work at the door, and coming in and actually sort of sitting down and having a civil conversation in regards to what's happening in the world or what happened in their day. And then just reaching out sort of to family back home is the hardest part. Is they're the hardest part is I'm a sort of or a turtle and barra and stuff like that. So it's tough, but then again, I've got my own little bubble down here where I get to call upon some of my mates to go and hit a golf ball around, or sit down at the pub and have a yarn and whinge about our wives and stuff like that. So I guess it's just a lot of people use the cliches a healthy, staying healthy with yourself, and then you get a healthy mind. It's it's one of those things. Just that's about it, bro. I'm just who I am, and I'll talk to anybody and give anybody the time of day.
Awesome, Anthony. Thanks for joining us. I hope you don't get into too much strife later. We won't share this on any further. All right. If anyone wants to contact you, is there an easy way? Do you mind if?
Look, you can contact me through my work at Serena Russo. Otherwise, that's about it.
You're pretty big on LinkedIn, I hear. So.
I'm not big on LinkedIn, mate. I'm just So look, LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm an easy man to contact.
As people have kind of seen, you're a bit of an open book, so and you'll talk to anyone, including myself. So
and can dribble a lot too. So.
All right, Anthony. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll let you get back to Lottie.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Talk soon. See ya.